Hey guys, Jack here. Welcome back to another video. Recently, me and my dad watched Dragon Ball Super Broly, and now we're just going to talk about the movie and see his opinion on it. So, let's start things off, Dad. Just what was your general opinion on the movie? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, definitely enjoyed it. I thought it wasn't what I expected. Mostly because I kind of thought it was gonna spoon feed me as someone who's not a fan of the, or not, I shouldn't say not a fan, not familiar with the show and the manga. Like, I thought it would give me more background, and it kind of just assumed I knew a heck of a lot of stuff. If you hadn't been there with me, I probably would have been a lot more confused.
Yeah, I do agree with that. But then again, at the same time, it'd be extremely difficult for them to explain all the necessary information. I mean, they did explain a decent bit about how the Saiyan planet was destroyed, and about how Goku went to Earth and stuff, and about King Vegeta. So I mean, and about Frieza too, how Frieza took over. But I mean, that's kind of it. They didn't really explain much other than that.
Yeah, I mean, I was able to pick up. And one of the things I really liked about it that I didn't understand before was just how sort of all the relationships with the different alien races and things, and how the Saiyans actually worked for Frieza or his father first, I guess. And I thought that actually was pretty interesting to me, because I thought the Saiyans were just the super powerful group that was out there. I didn't realize that they were kind of, I don't know if they were enslaved but they were forced to work for Frieza. I thought that was an interesting angle that I didn't expect.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool how the movie showed a little bit more background on that. I enjoyed seeing the scenes with Goku's dad, Bardock.
Yeah, so when you say the movie showed more background, does that mean like a lot of that stuff wasn't explained before the movie? Was that new information for people? I
mean, there was some new information, but you knew the story. It was more like you just got to see it in more detail, if that makes sense. But they did change a few things. They did make a few retcons.
Yeah. The other thing that stood out for me was the relationship with Broly and his dad. It was weird because Broly's dad at the beginning, he was he wanted to save his son. He was concerned for his son. And so he kind of, escaped and left to go protect his son. But then he ended up not treating his son very well. I thought that was an interesting kind of complex dynamic that I didn't expect from the show or from the movie.
I mean, I think it's because he realized Broly's power is too uncontrollable. Because, I mean, the thing is, when Vegeta sent Broly away, King Vegeta, that's who I'm talking about, he sent him away because he was jealous.
Yeah.
However, he was also kind of right in the fact that Broly's power would make him uncontrollable.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, he definitely sort of had those characteristics. My take on King Vegeta was more it was the jealousy. He didn't seem to be seriously thinking, boy, this child could be a problem. It was more, I want my son to be the best.
No, obviously that's why he sent him away. Yeah. But at the same time, he wasn't wrong about Broly being able to lose it and destroy everything.
Right. It would be cool. It didn't need to be in the movie, but it strikes me they could make a movie or a show about Broly growing up on that planet. That could be kind of cool.
That could be interesting. I mean, they could do a lot of stuff with other people showing up. I mean, it could be kind of cool. I mean, a whole show might be a stretch, but I wouldn't mind a movie or a TV special about it.
Yeah. I wouldn't do a series, but a movie or a mini, very short 2-parter or something could be cool.
What'd you think of all the transformations, how they kind of cycled through them? Because the one thing I really like about that movie is it's one of the best ways to see a bunch of transformations in a short amount of time.
Yeah, well, I thought they were cool. I will say, and you and I talked about this while we were watching it because I was asking you questions, it wasn't clear to me what transformation Broly was going through. But it was cool watching, Goku and Vegeta kind of leveling up and all those transformations. And clearly the fights were it was I think half the movie was the final battle, and it was just escalating and escalating and escalating, and it was pretty good. And also I noticed the movie started with more traditional animation, And when they got to the final battle, like they were using more modern, I'm guessing like computer animation techniques. So like the whole quality of the battle scene was just like next level. I thought it was pretty cool.
And there's some CGI in the battle, which looked really good, I thought.
Yeah, agreed.
Also, I do have to say what you were saying about Broly. Like, basically, they did say this in the movie, but in case you forgot, like, he can use the Great Ape power in his normal form.
Yeah, well, they said that, but, like, it was just... Again, not that I'm an expert in any of it, but I kind of think I understand, like, the Saiyans become Super Saiyan, and then they can become Super Saiyan God, and they can Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan Blue. They can, like, each one is, like, a step up. Broly, it was just like he just seemed Broly in that movie reminded me of the Hulk from Marvel, where he just seemed, the madder he got, the more powerful he seemed.
I mean, that is kind of how it is, but like before Broly became a Super Saiyan, but after he lost control, when he had that green glow and stuff, that's kind of called his rage form usually.
Okay,
that's basically where he loses control and he powers up a lot, but he's not like a Super Saiyan. But the thing with that is, if you noticed, even after he became a Super Saiyan, his hair was yellow, but his energy was green.
Yeah.
So it's kind of as if he stacked that rage power on top of Super Saiyan.
Okay. That kind of makes sense when you say it that way, but I will admit, like, as a casual viewer of the movie, the movie didn't help me understand. I understood that he was getting more powerful and Goku was getting more powerful, but like the nuances, you know, I don't think I got them from maybe if I read the manga or I watched the whole series, it would become more obvious. But I didn't pick. If you hadn't just told me that, I wouldn't know.
I mean, you do have a fair point.
I'm not criticizing. It's just a noticing.
No, I agree with you. I mean, like, you could easily watch that movie and not realize like what his rage power is.
Yeah.
So I do agree with you there.
Well, like, that's one of the things just I'm curious about. We've done a couple of these videos. You've showed me some things. We've talked about it. Like, there's obviously a lot of lore that explains this stuff, right? There's rules that are being followed. None of the things I've watched yet have explained it. I don't know where it's like. Is it actually ever in the show or the manga? Does a character sit down and be like, "Here's how it works"?
What works?
Like Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan Grade 2 to Super Saiyan God. Like,
that's all explained.
It is explained.
That's all explained.
Because nothing I've seen has explained it yet. So you share with me, but the actual things I've seen all seem to just assume that the viewer knows already.
I mean, like, that's a good point. But then at the same time, it's like, I don't think they're going to take the time to go through every form.
No, but like, I'll compare it to Star Wars for a moment. Like, Star Wars never sits down in detail and says, okay, here's exactly how the Force works. But like, in Empire Strikes Back, Luke goes and trains with Yoda, and as an audience member, you're like, okay, I understand the Force better now. So then later, when the Force gets used, you kind of understand. Like, that's stuff that I just haven't seen yet in Dragon Ball, and it's probably just because I haven't, you've shown me a couple clips and we've watched a couple movies, but I haven't seen all of it.
That's fair.
But I'd be interested in that. Like, if there's an episode or something of like, here's where they explain it, I'd be interested in watching it.
That's a good idea. We can do that. That's not a bad idea. But like, there's just so much stuff that it's like, there's a ton of information, and you kind of got to watch the whole series. But there are definitely parts that I could pull out and have you watch if you wanted to.
And the Great Ape, like, you've told me before about how the Saiyans can tap into that great. They actually transform into like a were-ape or something, right? Like, it looks kind of like a monster. But like, again, maybe I just don't know enough, but like, what you've shown me is Vegeta, Goku, like, they don't do that in the later series.
Yeah, that's because they lost their tails.
So without the tail, they can't transform?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And once they reach adulthood, their tail doesn't grow back.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I've mentioned that before, but you probably
I probably forgot. I know in the movie Broly, like when it was showing like I forget the name of the planet with the Saiyans, but like they all had they kind of had their tails wrapped around their waist like belts. So I guess all of them could have turned into great apes?
Yes.
Okay.
All of them could have. But like, if they know that, so if they don't stare at the moon, then they'll be fine.
Okay. So for them, like, turning into a Super Saiyan is something that Goku does on purpose because he wants to tap into that power. So for them, though, turning into a great ape is like a bad thing. Like they can't control it.
They can train to control it. Vegeta has trained to control it.
Okay.
But on normal occasion, no.
Okay.
So unless they like specifically practice, then they will lose control.
So it's kind of like the classic werewolf story where the good guy turns into the werewolf and then becomes a monster he can't control. That kind of thing.
I mean, yes, but whenever they do use it, they use it to conquer worlds.
Oh.
So it's not really a good guy becoming a bad guy. They're already doing a bad thing and they're just...
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that the
advantage.
Saiyans were not great, I don't know, people in general.
No, they're not. They're not. Yes. Goku hit his head as a child, so that's kind of why he's a good guy.
Oh, so you think it's like a genetic thing? They're like genetically bad guys? And
I mean, like, basically, I guess...
Because my impression from the movie was they were doing bad stuff because they were made to by Frieza.
I mean, no, before Frieza conquered them, they were already a bad people.
Oh, okay.
But it's not exactly genetic because Broly, for example, when he loses control, he's, like, insane, but, like, when he's not in control, he's a good guy.
Right.
I mean, when he is in control, he's a good guy.
Right. So it's like the Saiyans, we've been watching Invincible. I forget the name of the aliens that...
Viltrumites?
Yeah, like are the Saiyans kind of like them? Like they're really powerful and they try to like take over they want to be in charge?
I mean,
I know
they're kind of
they
like
came
them,
first, so,
but they're kind of like them. But the Saiyans, they just take over planets and sell them to the highest bidder.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
Frieza is the one who's trying to take over the universe.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or at least he was back in the day.
Interesting.
What'd you think of the fusion, Gogeta?
I thought it was cool. I thought the sequence where they had to learn how to dance was funny.
Yeah, I like that part.
And actually, there's an example where like that explained a lot to me without them like actually saying it in words, but like because they screwed up, like they kept like how perfect the fusion has to be to create the powerful being they were after. And if you screw up a little, you can still fuse, but you almost get like messed up versions.
And it's not, it's not what it should be.
Yeah.
But what'd you think of like when they punched Gogeta and Broly punched each other, and then they just like straight up shattered reality? Yeah, and went to that weird dimension.
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, so one of the other videos I was saying how like I couldn't really tell how powerful in that movie you started to get the sense that they were on a different plane of power than they weren't just like really strong. They were like knocking holes through reality. That was pretty cool.
They never exactly explain it, but what my headcanon is they're so powerful that they just were sent to just a whole nother reality and then sent back just because of the sheer power they were wielding. So that's kind of my take on that. And I just thought that sequence looked really cool visually.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, the whole end, I mean, as that battle got more and more amped up, I thought it was really cool.
What'd you think of how Gogeta was going to try and kill Broly? Did you pick up on that?
No, I'm not sure I did.
Because at the end, he charges up a Kamehameha.
Yeah.
And like he fires it, and Broly, he like his pupils come back, and he looks super scared, and that's when they send him away with the Dragon Balls.
Oh, right. Yeah, I guess I didn't know it was gonna kill him.
I mean, it's not confirmed it was gonna kill him, but the general consensus is kind of Gogeta was like gonna kill him if he wasn't sent away.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, no, I hadn't. So I guess when I watched it, I wasn't in my mind because they had been through. So it almost felt like they couldn't kill anybody because they were so powerful. So that wasn't actually going through my head, but that's interesting. Yeah, I thought that was the part that again they didn't really convey explicitly in the movie, but like Gogeta, like Goku. Especially at the end where he goes and visits Broly and make sure he's okay and stuff. Like he seems like such a nice guy. Gogeta, didn't seem so nice.
I mean, the thing is, Vegeta's not super nice, not nearly as nice as Goku.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't feel like Vegeta would have tried to kill Broly either. So like, I feel like when Goku and Vegeta fuse, they almost become this like. They literally do become a new person, but I feel like that new person also has his own morals as well.
Yeah, it's probably. I mean, that was the sense. Is it's like it's a different person now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So which I think's pretty cool because they could have easily had it where he just acted a lot like Goku or acted a lot like Vegeta, but the fact that you can actually tell he has a new personality, I really like.
Yeah. The other thing that I didn't realize until I saw the movie was that they can what's it called what's the word when they combine? Fuse. It only lasts for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that there was a time limit on it.
There's a time limit. I'd also like to say, Frieza? Mm-hmm. And he actually fought Broly, Super Saiyan, for an hour straight. What do you think of that?
At least. I mean, because they messed up
the fusion.
At least twice.
And they had to wait 30 minutes. So, like,
yeah.
how does that put into perspective how powerful Frieza is? Because, I mean, Frieza wasn't beating Broly, but the fact that he, like, fought him for an hour straight, which is longer than both Goku and Vegeta fought him.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me. Like, I feel like that's one of the more overlooked parts of the movie about, like, how crazy powerful Frieza is to just not die in an hour.
Well, yeah, we didn't talk about it until now, but, like, what was going through my head was, boy, they sure are, like, confident that Frieza's not gonna, like, lose during that time period, right?
And have Broly destroy the planet.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things could have gone really wrong, but they seemed to think they had the time, and at the same time they needed to get the fusion right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they weren't saying like, oh no, we better hurry. They just were saying we better get it right.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess the whole Frieza thing sets up Black Frieza.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I know Black Frieza exists, but I haven't yet. I don't know anything about Black Frieza.
Basically, quick spoiler for the manga. You might want to skip ahead, but basically, Black Frieza can one-shot Goku and Vegeta at their strongest at the same time. Literally, like, he can just one-tap them. So, currently, Frieza is basically unbeatable in the manga right now.
Okay.
So...
I also think, speaking of Frieza, like, in the early part of the movie when... What's Frieza's dad's name?
Frost?
No,
King Cold. Sorry,
King Cold. That's right. King Cold.
I sometimes get him confused because you got Frieza, Cooler, Frost, Chilled.
Well, when King Cold
King Cold
sort of retires and puts Frieza in charge, like, that was an interesting scene because, like, all the setup prior to that, like, again, as a newcomer, I'm like, King Cold's a bad dude. He's a bad dude. And then immediately when Frieza starts talking, you're like, he's worse.
Yeah.
Like he is way worse.
He's the fact that he just, like, shot the Saiyans in the sniping towers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like,
no, that was the other thing. Like, I'm probably not gonna remember every instance of this, but, like, several people die in this movie, and it's like, it's just so matter of factly, right? Like, there's no, like, I'm not used to in animation people, like, being murdered, and when they are, in my experience, it's usually like, this is a big moment. We're gonna, like, zoom in.
Oh, like when they casually just...
And they just, like, shoot people in the head or whatever, and then the scene just goes on. And I'm like, because I turned to you, I'm like, is he dead? And you're like, yep. And I'm like, whoa.
And, like, when Broly's dad also kills the guy in the ship.
Yeah.
It's like, this guy kind of, like, you got to know him for a bit. You got to know the character, and then
poof,
he's gone.
He's just done.
Yeah. That's the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
And also Broly's dad when Frieza kills him.
Yeah, those were those two, and then when Frieza blew up the people in the towers, it wasn't quite the same, but still, it was like, oh, they're dead.
Yeah,
like you're killing people.
I mean, you probably don't care for this moment as much as me, but I like that Broly becomes a Super Saiyan when he sees his dad die, because a lot in the series, like after Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, all the main characters, after they get Super Saiyan, the rest of the people who become Super Saiyans, it feels kind of cheap. Like, it's like, oh, hey, this guy now is Super Saiyan. And it's like, oh, wait, he is Super Saiyan as well. But, like, this was the first time in a while where Super Saiyan kind of felt meaningful again.
Okay, yeah, I don't have all that context, but I thought it was a cool moment, and I was tracking with it, like that. And what I thought was also interesting too is Frieza was intentionally manipulating him.
Oh yeah, that's what he does.
Right, he did it on purpose. It worked, and then it was kind of like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Now what have I done? I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, I thought that was, And it also speaks to, again, something I'm interested in seeing where the story goes from here. Like, Broly's character is pretty complex, right? Like, he was banished from his homeworld. His father saved him, but his father raised him in a pretty abusive way. Whether he did it because he had to or not, it was still a pretty abusive childhood. But he had this bond with his father, but then his father gets murdered, and that's, like, he obviously cares about his dad, but, like, Broly is, like, a messed up guy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the fact that he knew his dad died, even when he lost control, shows that he's still in there somewhere. He hasn't completely lost it if he recognized that his dad died.
Well, right. But the fact that his dad's death upset him that much when his dad was not great to him. Like, that's an interesting dynamic.
I mean, they even actually foreshadow it when Broly does say earlier in the movie, it's not good to talk about my dad that way. Even after his dad, like, shocked him one scene earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting... I didn't expect that kind of...
deep character.
Complexity, yeah.
I mean, they're definitely moving forward with him in the manga right now.
Are they?
Yeah, like, currently in the manga, he can use Super Saiyan without losing it. But he can't use his full power. But I'm glad they're bringing him into the manga. They're definitely building on him.
Now I'm wondering with the superhero movie, when Goku and Vegeta and Broly were off on that other planet, like, training through all the battle at the end, like, they should have just brought all three of them over.
Yeah, I know, except they just straight up forgot.
Yeah.
They first, like, they tried contacting Whis, and then they used the Dragon Balls to make Piccolo stronger, and then they just realized that they could have brought him with the Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. It was just an excuse to get Gohan to achieve a new form.
No, I know. But it would have been cool to see what they could have... If they showed up, it would have been a very different movie.
But I mean, from one point of view, it's like, wow, that's stupid. They could have used the Dragon Balls. How did they forget? But from the other point of view, some of those characters like Piccolo and Gohan who haven't done much...
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to see. I mean, you probably don't appreciate this as much as me, but, like, when you've seen the whole series and, like, read through most of Dragon Ball Super, it's very nice to see those characters actually do something.
Oh, sure. I get what you're saying. Like, when I saw them, because, again, when we saw the movie in the theater, I knew much less about Dragon Ball than I do now. What I did know was that, like, Goku was, like, the main... He's the guy I've seen in artwork for years. Like, even before I knew his name, Goku was the image I have of Dragon Ball. And when we went to see that movie and Goku was hardly in it, I was like, what the heck is going on? But I kind of figured out that, like, this is Gohan and Piccolo's story. Like, that was what they did. And that actually, you know, and then, like, this movie Broly is kind of, like, I didn't realize how many characters were in the mix and how deep their backstories were. And they're, like, it's much bigger and more... I'll use the word complex again, than I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's not just about the adventures of Goku. It's like, no, here's a whole group of characters that have their own motivations and stories and histories and goals and objectives, and it's cool.
I mean, it's really cool how the series has shown Goku from a child to an adult, Gohan from a child to adult, Piccolo when he was bad to being good, and
Orange.
To Orange. Yeah, it's like it's not just a series with characters. It's like a series with characters that actually each individual character has a huge history.
Yeah, they're not... It's not like... This is a very inappropriate comparison, but it's not like, you know, The Adventures of Scooby-Doo, where every episode there's no character growth. It goes on for however many years, and they're still doing the same thing. Like these characters are actually... evolving over time, and the plot lines are evolving. That's cool. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how it's been like 40 years of these characters.
Yeah.
And they're still going. They're still achieving new strength.
I do find it interesting, though, I have to say, given that, like you're just, you know, here's maybe this is a question, you know, but you go from Goku as a child, he grows up, then he has a son, Gohan, who's a child and grows up. We've seen that Saiyans, there are older Saiyans. Goku doesn't, like, he kind of grew up and now he's the same age forever.
Now, well, the thing is, the lore is that Saiyans stay in their prime until they're really old.
Okay.
Because they're a fighting race.
Okay. So they address it.
Yeah, they address
Okay,
it. They
all right.
address it.
I can
But
buy that.
they just touch on it. But I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. It wouldn't matter because they have the Dragon Balls. They can de-age whenever they want.
No, I know, but like, it's just interesting. Like, it's just a question that comes to mind. But
Yeah.
hearing that they actually address it, whatever the answer is, I'll like that's cool.
I mean,
the fact that they address it is cool.
In the new show, Dragon Ball Daima, they all become kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So who knows, maybe at the end of that show, if they wish to become adults again, they might wish to become adults a little younger, for all we know.
Very cool.
But I mean, yeah, that's kind of it. The one last question I have for you is, what was your favorite transformation in the movie? Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, or Broly's rage form? Or I guess you could say Broly's Super Saiyan because it's kind of a combination of his rage form, so I guess that could count as its own thing.
It's hard to pick a favorite.
Or Broly's green-haired form too.
I like when Broly went Super Saiyan. That was really cool. That might be my favorite. But I will tell you, and I don't remember. We watched it like a week ago, so I might misremember the exact sequence of events. But when Vegeta, he goes Super Saiyan God, right?
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was cool, and the fact that like it wasn't enough.
Because, like, yeah, it was winning at first, and then when Broly powered up, then it wasn't enough. Yeah.
Like, that sequence, and then Goku came in, like, I thought that was... Because when he turned into Super Saiyan God, I was like, well, this is going to be... Like, I actually thought this is going to be where the fight ends. And then that was really the very big... Like, there was, like, a 40-minute fight after that. And
yeah.
So, anyway, but just... That was cool because, one, I think the level up was a neat thing to see. And I was pleased I understood what it was.
Yeah.
But then to also see like, oh, it's not enough. Like that was a cool moment for me in the audience. Like, this is more serious.
Things
like,
are ramping
Broly's
up.
way more powerful than I thought.
I mean, the fact that they had to resort to fusion to win shows how strong Broly is alone.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah. Anyway, did you enjoy the movie? Did you say?
Yeah, I did. Absolutely.
All right. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.